What's good, YouTube? Akil here, back with another video, and today's trip to the thrift is crazy. Now, I know I always say that in all of my videos, but trust me, right now the finds have just been crazy, so I'm really just taking full advantage of it. Because as you guys know, anytime it comes to business, sometimes you could have some really good months and some really slow months, and right now for me, this is really just a good month in terms of sourcing. So in case you guys didn't know, this is more like a highlight reel. I'm definitely not going to be talking about just one thrift store. I went to maybe 3 or 4 different ones, so definitely keep that in mind in case some of you guys think you could just walk into a Goodwill and leave with a ton of stuff. Sometimes that happens, but most of the time that doesn't happen, at least for me. But today, these past 2 thrift stores came through with a lot of heat. So before I jump into it, make sure you guys please subscribe to the channel, because I'm really trying to hit 19,000 subscribers by the end of the month. That's more like a little personal goal. And of course, hit that like button, because what that will do is just let YouTube know that you like what I'm doing over here on this channel. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, y'all, so we in the first Goodwill of the day, and as soon as I walked in, I came across this dope satin jacket. This one is actually from New Era. New Era is the hat company that makes like the fitted hats and stuff like that. I didn't even know they had apparel, to be honest, but I saw comps for this one. Brand new, was selling for about 40 bucks plus shipping, so I should get something close to that since this one is used. Next, I came across this like children's dictionary, and I've sold these children's dictionaries in the past for a ton of profit, but most people would just leave these sitting by. So I just wanted to make sure you guys check these out anytime you find them. Even if it's used, they still have some value as well. But then I saw this this calculator, and as you guys know, the graphing calculators, these are usually super popular, sell for a ton of profit. So I was kind of glad when I grabbed up both of those at the same time. Then I checked the comps, and sort of one calculator was only selling for 10 bucks, so I just threw that one back. Now, this is actually a really good shoe brand in terms of clothing. As you guys know, I don't sell a ton of clothes anymore, but this is a good cowboy boot brand if you came across it. I think it's pronounced Lucchese. I just wanted to show you guys the shirt. The shirt usually sells for maybe 15-20 bucks. Might take a while to sell, but if you find the boots with that brand, absolutely pick that up. So I've been telling you guys, I've been trying to switch up my categories and just learn a little more stuff to check for in some of these thrift stores, and Dyson vacuums is definitely one of them. This vacuum sells for a ton of profit. If I sold it complete, maybe about 200 to maybe 250, but it was actually missing some attachments at the very top of it. So what I'm going to do with this one is actually just part it out, because the parts are really easy to detach. As you guys can see, you simply just have to click this red button right here, and then you can take that off, and that usually sells for about 50, and the motor head, I know for a fact, also sells for about 50 bucks. So I'm just going to clean this up, of course, and then just sell it for parts. Okay, here we are again, same Goodwill, but just the very next day, and I came across this Cabela's whitetail clothing jacket. And as soon as I seen Made in USA, it made me want to check it out. And I'm not going to say all of Cabela's clothing sell for some good profit. I think just like the whitetail clothing has a little more value. And this jacket, I seen comps for selling for about 60 bucks on this one at first. So I'm definitely going to be taking a chance on this one, especially since it has the original hood and everything like that on it. Even though it is kind of pricey, I should still be able to make some good money on it. So here I'm in the shoe section, and this is also a good brand to be on the lookout for. These McLeod shoes. These are just a nice pair of running shoes. The price was just too much for me. 25 bucks was a lot, but if you guys can find them for a better deal, definitely grab those up. Now here was a pair of dress shoes, and like I tell you guys all the time, dress shoes just don't sell as fast as they used to for me. But if I come across Ralph Lauren Benchmade shoes, I'm always gonna grab those up, because these have a really like a strong cult following for these, mainly because they're such high quality. So for only 7 bucks and some change, I'm absolutely gonna grab these up, and I don't need to clean these up or polish them or anything. I'm just gonna sell them as is, and I should at least be able to get 100 bucks. So here was another pair of those McLeod running shoes. It probably was the same person, just donated both pairs that they had. Once again, they priced these pretty high for 25 bucks. But like I say all the time, if you guys can find these for a better deal, definitely grab those up, because they usually sell for about 60, sometimes as high as 80 bucks. And then this one was a surprise. This was a pair of Kobe's, and as you guys know, Kobe shoes have a really high market value right now ever since his passing. But of course, even Goodwill knows that, so of course they had to price these for 50 bucks. So I'm just going to be putting these right back, even though these are pretty busted. I mean, it is what it is, but I'm pretty sure somebody will be happy to be able to grab up a pair of Kobe's, because if they're a Kobe fan, 50 bucks probably isn't a lot to them. So here was this pair of fake boosts. For those of you that don't know, the boosts are supposed to be way more soft and way more squishier than that. That's how I knew it was fake instantly. So Here was actually the pants for the jacket, and by me finding the pants and the jacket, I can sell it for a complete set, and I should be able to sell it for at least maybe 100, maybe 110 bucks. After checking comps on it, some people sold the complete set for like 160 to 170. But there was only like one of those types of sales, so I don't usually trust outliers, but I should at least be able to get 100 bucks for the full set. So here we are in a different thrift store and came across this really clean Olympus camera. Dope thing is that it actually had the battery and the memory card. But one thing that I like to do when I find a camera with the battery and memory card, I would still just go ahead and hop on eBay or Amazon and just buy the charger for this as well. That way the charger would just add some more value to the camera, and it also lets me know I can just test it before shipping it out, so I know for a fact that it works. And most of the time I spend no more than like $6 or $7 on the charger, so definitely worth the investment. So as soon as I walked across the jackets, I saw the little Notre Dame symbol on the sleeve. Had to grab this jacket up. As you guys know, these starter satin jackets always bring in some good profit, and they usually sell for right around like 50 to 60 bucks. This one in particular did have some minor stains, so I might get a little less than that, but I don't see this sitting around for too long. It'll probably be a really quick sale. I've had one of these in the past and they sold just about the same day that I listed it. So this is a first time find. I've actually sold one of these like stereo mixers before in the past, and they sold for like 200 bucks, and this one is just the first time I found this one in particular. But after checking the comps on this, the comps were pretty strong. They were selling for about 60, some were selling for a little more, like around 80 bucks, and this person I seen here sold it for 50 plus $27 shipping. So I'm gonna price mine pretty high, maybe around that $80 to $90 mark, and see how it does. So here we are in a different Goodwill, and I came across this Bose Acoustimask. And if you guys follow the channel, you guys know I've been coming across a ton of Bose, like just Bose electronics lately, a ton of different stereo systems and speakers. And I think this one is just the subwoofer, because I came across the actual like surround sound speakers that should go with this. So I'm absolutely gonna grab this one up, and just the Acoustimask by itself sells for like 120. So the shipping might be kind of pricey, but at the end of the day, I'm just going to use UPS and I should save some money with that. So here was a really cool find. This was like a key locker cabinet. These usually do sell for like 50 to 60 bucks. It didn't have a ton of comps, so this might be a slower sale, but for 10 bucks, it is what it is. Now, this camera is definitely one of the most profitable ones that I've found in a long time. If you guys follow the channel, you know, a couple weeks ago, I came across a very similar Canon camera, but that one had a busted lens, and I probably should have still picked that one up and sold it for parts, because that one was really expensive. But this one actually was in really good condition, and as you guys can see, there was some battery acid in this one. But when it comes to battery acid, all I usually do is of course put on some gloves with that, because you don't want battery acid getting under your nails. But just use some apple cider vinegar, and that kind of just gets rid of the battery acid really quickly. So shout out to Jim Kaufman for this one, because they only was asking $9 for this, and this camera sells for right around like 150 to 200 bucks all day long. And someone also asked me about any Polaroid cameras, which ones to pick up. I'm not super knowledgeable about Polaroid. Just check the comps on this land camera, and the comps are pretty trash. So if you see that one, just, you know, pass on that one. Now, this find was also really crazy. Now, this printer, this is like a photo printer. And this one, as you guys can see, was brand new in the box. They probably just opened this one, or maybe it was donated open for some reason, but it included the ink. And as you guys can see, it's still pretty much factory sealed. It has everything that you need, the power cord and the CDs in there. And they were only asking $7 for this, and the comps on this was crazy. Now, this was the only one that sold for this much money. They usually were selling for around 120, but I'm gonna price mine high since I have the original box, and of course I have the ink in here as well, so wish me luck with that one. Now, here was another crazy find. Here is this Ninja 3-in-1 cooking system. So I think it's kind of like almost like a fryer, and I'm thinking it also is like a crock pot at the same time, but I'm not really sure with the Ninjas. But I just know the comps were pretty strong. These were selling for right around 100 bucks. This one was actually the 701 model, so definitely grab that one up for only 15. And this is something I'm really not familiar with at all. All I did was type in power conditioner, and of course some of the comments pulled up. Not a ton of previous sales in the past 90 days, but this one sold for $44 plus $22 shipping, and it was super heavy, so I'm going to grab that one up for sure. Now, just as I was on my way out, I thought I came across the power cable and the Bose Acoustimask cables. I'm actually still going to use that power cable as more as like a replacement, but unfortunately that wasn't the cords for the Bose system, so I'm going to still keep hunting for that. But overall, still a really solid day in terms of thrifting.
For the winner, cause you felt like you was losing, only for the winner. Move just to keep from cooling, like only for the winner, only for the winner, only for the winner. Boy, my heart is cold, and I'm too cool to sweat it. I should've never offered it. I'm tight and now I'm off this shit.